Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the most villainous of them all?
Let's unpack the magic.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Team Unicorn Podcast. My name's Sally.
And I'm Sammy.
And we have a extra spooky villainous episode for you today. This is going to be our Halloween episode.
This is the Halloween episode.
This is the Halloween episode. Yeah, this is the Halloween episode of the podcast. And we thought it would be really fun to take a deep dive into the villainous side of the Disney fandom.
Yeah, Battle of the Baddies.
Battle of the Baddies, yes. We have come up with a list of 32 of some of our most famous villain, or our most favorite villains, I should say.
Yes.
And some of the most famous villains throughout Disney and Pixar. Mm-hmm. And we have put them together in a big bracket style tournament to figure out who is the most villainous baddie of them all.
Yes.
We've done something like this in the past, not when it this is well before the podcast. We did a movie bracket a couple years in a row for March Madness, and it's going to kind of follow the same format of the March Madness tournament. Yes. It's a single elimination. The worst, or I guess the best villain.
I think the best of the worst.
The best of the worst. Continues on to the next round, and we're just going to kind of go through the list and figure out who we as Team Unicorn believe is the most villainous, the baddest baddie of them all when it comes to Disney villains. I think we should just you want to just get right into it?
Yeah, well, I don't so how are you feeling about villains? Like, do you have a favorite one?
I do. We obviously kind of addressed it back in the Dig a Little Deeper episode of Hercules, that I think Hades is just one of the greatest villains of all time. When we were creating this list, and before we get into it, we'll kind of give you a backstory on how we created this list. But seeing the bracket and the way it just kind of panned out, as much as I think Hades is a contender here, I don't know. There's some stiff competition.
Yeah, I have somebody in mind, and I don't want to say it, who I think might win.
Okay.
But I have somebody who I think might take it all.
I have someone too, and I'm very interested because we're gonna go through these together. We will both decide ourselves, or as a team, as Team Unicorn, who to go on to the next round. So we won't be doing these opposite of one another.
Yeah. And I guess for me, I don't know if I have a favorite villain. Villain's really not my style.
I know, because we were talking about it before we started this podcast. If I guess this isn't so much of an Easter egg, but if you've noticed it on the YouTube channel, I try to wear a different shirt every single time we come down here, and it's always themed towards the episode. Today I've got my Poison Apple shirt. My villainous, my only villain-esque shirt I think I own currently at this time. I've got oh my goodness. So speaking of Hades, the Lost Bros, shout out the Lost Bros. I know you're not listening, but be amazing if you were.
Right.
They just released last week their It's a Small Underworld shirt, which is a bleach stained Hades inspired rock version of It's a Small World shirt, and it's incredible. And it's the shirt that got me into Lost Bros, and they didn't release it, and they for the longest time, and they finally did, and I'm like, I need to get this. I'm so excited. It is on its way. Hopefully it'll be here for a November trip. But it's amazing, and that's just another reason why I love Hades so much. So we were talking you didn't have something to wear specifically for
I know,
a villain
I
theme.
I don't have a villain shirt, so
it's not your vibe.
It's not my vibe. I guess I don't know if I had to pick a favorite villain. I don't even know who I would pick.
Part of me would say it might be Ratigan for you, just because you love that movie so much.
I was thinking of him, that or Mother Gothel. I feel like she I don't know. I feel like she's a really good villain.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like, oh, I have a favorite one, like I probably don't. But I'm very excited for this.
Yeah.
And yes, we just kind of randomized the brackets, I guess.
Yeah, so we kind of
So
came up with a list of
we came up with a
as many
list.
villains as we could think of, and then kind of weeded it down to 32.
Yeah,
I think we had like in like the high 30s, maybe 40s for total villains, and we just kind of figured, okay, which ones are worthy of making it to here, and then we went through and put them all into a little wheel online and just randomized the wheel, and whoever was picked in a row, that's who they're going up against. So these brackets are completely random. There is no.
You did do a few tweaking.
I did
tweakings just
because I mean I didn't want like two of like the big contenders or like the like the real baddies to going off against each other in round one. But for the most part, it's pretty random.
Yeah. So if you're wondering why the seating or whatever,
there is no seating on this.
Seating. It's just all random. And I think for this very first round, we're gonna go more quick. Just because it's the first round. Like I think it's pretty obvious, I think, who's gonna win between most of these. So I think
we're just gonna go with our gut reaction.
Yeah.
With it.
Yeah. All right. So do we want to get started?
Yeah. So the round of 32. And now thinking about this, we had like fun names for like the round of 16, 8, and 4, but I don't know if we ever came up with like a cute name. I shouldn't say cute name, a villainous name for 32. The round of 32.
Yeah, I'm not sure because what was. I don't remember what.
Because we're gonna get into. Yeah, because after the 16, it's the Sinister 16.
Sinister 16.
We'll get to them, and the Hateful 8.
Or the Evil 8.
Or the Evil 8, kind of back and forth there. The Frightening 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have obviously like your villainous championship match, but
your baddest baddie.
Yeah, the baddest baddie. But round of 32.
32. I don't know. What's a good?
The Sickening 32. It just 32 seems like a weird.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think when it comes to basketball, they just call it the round of 32. Or the
Oh, do they? Yeah. I don't really follow.
I don't think that there's like an actual like term like the Sweet 16 or Elite 8. I think it's just the round of 32.
Yay, sports.
Yay, sports.
No, I do follow some sports.
Yeah. Let's just jump right on into it. All right. So for do you want to go first and we'll kind of go back and forth?
Like naming them off?
Yeah, like we'll name like the pairings off.
Okay. So we have Jafar versus Lotso.
Okay. I guess gut reaction. Are we just we'll do them and then we'll kind of go down the list?
Oh, is that?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Sorry about that. We have like this really great idea and not a whole lot of like specifics on how to like actually do this bracket in sort of like a podcast form. So bear with us while we figure this out.
Okay, so we're gonna name who we think first. We're not just gonna like name them off for every.
Yeah, because then you'd be going over them. That'd be maybe a little bit repetitive.
Okay.
Jafar versus Lotso, right?
Yes.
Okay. My gut says Jafar, but Lotso is pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
my gut says Jafar.
All right.
So I think it's Jafar.
Yeah, let's put him in here, and we'll see Jafar. He goes.
Okay. Jafar,
all right.
Moving on.
Next matchup is Hans versus Frozen versus Charles Muntz from Up. This throws me off because Hans is the bad guy.
I don't know. I am gonna say Hans.
Yeah, I like that like surprise villain. I mean, Charles Muntz was kind of a surprise villain too, but like you could tell he's got like he was like there was something lurky with him right away. Like you could tell with Hans, it was always like, oh my god, Anna's gonna marry this guy.
Right, and that was always Hans' intention was to like, climb his way up and.
Bye, Dr. Facilier.
Oops. Here, we'll pick him up here.
We'll send him right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Hans was always like trying to like just be kind of like secretive about it.
Yeah, and like to try to kill off like Anna and Elsa and I don't know. So he always had evil intentions. I don't know. Charles Muntz, like I don't know. I would go Hans.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
All right, next one.
Mother Gothel versus Shere Khan.
Mother Gothel.
Yeah, Mother Gothel.
She's so like such a villain. I was gonna say baddie, but then I'm just like, I don't want people to be like, oh, she's a baddie. Ow. Make it sound weird. All right, next one. Captain Hook versus Gaston. This is one where we were putting him in. I'm just kind of like, see, this is why I was trying to like maybe move some of them, because these are like two big ones off right away. I think I'm gonna go with Captain Hook.
Oh, I'm gonna go Gaston.
And I'll defer this one to you. If we want to go with Gaston, that's fine. I feel like Gaston is more just arrogant, and that's what makes him bad, as opposed to like.
Yeah, but he was gonna kill the beast. Like, he literally got, like, the whole townspeople to go in.
Yeah, because he arrogantly thought that, the beast was, like, taking Belle. Like, he was bad, but in his mind, he thought it was for good. Or I guess that's all villains. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, Gaston.
I was gonna say, what's your argument for Captain Hook?
He's got a hook for a hand. I don't know.
He's got a hook for a hand. I don't know. Like, I don't think... Yeah, I think Gaston is more baddie.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. We can go with that.
Okay.
I will concur. All right. Next matchup. What do we got?
We have Ursula versus Governor Ratcliffe.
Ursula.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against Ratcliffe. I mean, the guy was a jerk. He was a grade A jerk. But I mean, Ursula is like... He's OG.
I was gonna say, like, I think when you think Disney villains, like, she's probably one of the first people you think of.
Yeah. Speaking of one of the first people you think of, next matchup is Maleficent versus Sid from Toy Story. This one hurts because I feel like Sid should go further, but like it's Maleficent.
Right.
Like, how do you not pick her to go on through?
Yeah.
Are we in agreement with that?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's Maleficent, but Sid he's got some problems, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he needs a good amount of therapy and just parents to take away, any sort of sharp objects from him.
Yeah.
Ernesto de la Cruz versus Edgar from the Aristocats. I think this is pretty simple and straightforward to me. What are you thinking?
Yeah, like I would probably go Ernesto.
Okay.
Although Edgar, like, I don't know, just taking the kitties and just dropping them in the middle of nowhere and fending for themselves is not very nice. But yeah, I would say Ernesto.
Okay.
Between those two.
And I feel this one I kind of feel bad about because like it's been so long since I've seen the Aristocats that like I don't even really remember like Edgar, because when we were coming through and you were like Edgar and I'm like, who?
And like, so the only reason I guess I know it so well is because that's one of my sister's favorite movies growing up. Like the Aristocats, like she loved it, so we watched it all the time growing up. Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's very villainous. He's obviously villainous enough to make the list here, but well, I'll get into like why I think Ernesto is like a real big baddie in, I guess, future rounds here.
Okay. Next one. Oogie Boogie versus Shan Yu.
See, and this one's a little hard for me.
Yeah,
because I feel like Oogie Boogie is like one of those like quintessential villains. Like he's got his own bash.
Right.
But
in terms of like being villainous throughout your movie, like
Shan Yu
I would pick Shan Yu.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he was literally trying to topple an empire and he was like trying to kill the emperor. Like that was like his whole deal. Like he killed the girls worth fighting for. Not like the ooh la la girls, but the little girls. Like he killed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is gonna be our first like big upset, right? You want to do this?
I feel good about this.
Okay, let's put Shan Yu on there.
All right.
So that is the first 16 villains on the bracket. We're
go
gonna
to the other side.
We're gonna go on to the other side, and we'll do the rest of the round of 32.
All right. So starting off on this side, we have Queen of Hearts versus Dr. Facilier.
Gut reaction tells me Dr. Facilier.
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, Queen of Hearts had a bit of a temper, but I mean, what you did to Ray Ray.
Yeah.
That is a no-no, Dr. Facilier.
Unforgivable.
It's unforgivable sins. I'm very intrigued about this one because I think this one could be an upset for us too.
Oh
gosh. Next matchup is King Candy, I guess / Turbo from Wreck-It Ralph versus the Evil Queen from Snow White. And now I am sporting the poisonous apple shirt. But I mean, like, King Candy wanted to like completely eliminate a character.
Yeah, Vanellope, and like
not even make her exist. Like,
literally shunned her from like everyone because like she couldn't do anything.
Yeah. It caused her glitch.
Well, but then the Evil Queen, like, she wanted to kill Snow White because she was prettier than her.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Now that you say that, they kind of have like the same motives.
Yeah.
Like, I want to kill Vanellope because she's a better racer than me, and she took over my spot as like the number one racer. And I want to kill Snow White because she's prettier than me. These are both in vain.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, I don't know, do we have to go with the Evil Queen? Because, like, that's, like, classic Disney.
I mean, I'm okay at making some people upset here and taking King Candy. Because, I mean, we know how much I love, well, we both love Wreck-It Ralph. But, I mean, it's the Evil Queen.
Right.
I mean, well, the Evil Queen does walk around with a heart in a box. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty messed up.
And she poisoned Snow White with the apple.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I have to go with the Evil Queen on this one.
Let's do Evil Queen. Although I think King Candy could have made it a long way if he had another competitor in the first round.
Ooh, we got a good one.
Girl, this is easy for me.
I know.
Next round is Hades versus It Doesn't Matter. It doesn't matter at all. But in this case, it's Lady Tremaine.
Yeah, Hades versus Lady Tremaine.
From Cinderella. I mean, it could be Lady Tremaine and the other two stepsisters. Anastasia and... it's Anastasia and Drusilla.
Yeah.
I think Anastasia, and then I think of, like, the other Anastasia, like...
The good Anastasia.
The good Anastasia. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, we kind of, like... We need to separate those. Even if it was all three of them, Hades has them, and it's got to be Hades.
Okay. Hades. Okay.
This is another tough one.
Ooh. We have Scar versus Cruella.
We have talked since episode 1 how much we adore dogs. And dogs are the best.
And for somebody that wants to skin them for their coats and make
and 101 of them at that.
Like, I would probably say Cruella.
But I mean, Scar, like...
I mean, he did kill Mufasa.
I mean, that is like... That's the most, like, traumatic death.
Yeah.
Like, we had to watch that growing up. And then when we were adults, we had to watch it in HD 4K in, like, live action death. I think it's got to be Cruella.
I'm going to go Cruella.
I don't know how far she's going to go in this competition, but I think for right now, I think.
All right, next one.
All right. Next is Yzma from Emperor's New Groove and Clayton from Tarzan. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would go with Yzma. But I think that's more me saying, like, I like that character more, as opposed to I'm not sure who is more villainous.
Well, I would probably make an argument for Clayton.
Would.
Yeah, I would.
You would.
Like how you said, this is supposed to be gut reaction, but my gut reaction would say Clayton.
See, I wish we had, like, a third party here. Like, if anyone watches, like, Good Mythical Morning, I wish, like, Cotton Candy Randy would just come out here and just be like...
No, oh my gosh.
You want to hear a sweet nothing?
No, thank you.
I think he would win the most villainous bracket if he was. Okay.
Okay.
Back to topic.
Well, okay, because
I guess Yzma didn't really. She just wanted her spot on the throne.
Yeah. I mean, like, Clayton wanted to kill, like, Tarzan and his whole family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's kind of a bad thing. Okay.
I don't know, but if you want to go Yzma, like, I'll go Yzma.
Let's go Yzma just because I think based on who we have in this next bracket and who I think is going to go forward, I think that either one is going to lose to this person. So I'm gonna take one for Yzma and let her advance.
Okay.
Who do we have next?
We have Frollo versus Prince John.
It's Frollo. It's Frollo.
Like, that's no question.
Oh, he's a creep. He's a horrible person. Just the worst.
All right.
Getting back to one of your favorites,
mm-hmm.
We have Professor Ratigan versus Syndrome from The Incredibles. Now this one's difficult for me because Ratigan is like legit a baddie, but like, he's also a rat. So like the scope of what he can do seemed kind of small, but he was trying to take over like all of Europe.
Well, yeah, like with the rats.
Yeah, with the rats.
Or the mice.
Yeah.
He was the rat. Or is the rat.
Yeah. But so like he had big aspirations, but like it wasn't for like the entire population. But then I guess Syndrome wasn't really like, he was just trying to get back at Mr. Incredible. I don't know. What's your gut telling you?
Ratigan.
That was quick. I'm sorry, Billy, but we're gonna go with Ratigan for this one, I guess.
Sorry, who?
Billy, that's his real name.
Oh.
Shows how much that you really enjoy The Incredibles.
I was gonna say, Incredibles is not one of my favorite movies.
I think the only thing that you enjoy about The Incredibles is the Incredicoaster.
And Jack Jack's.
And Jack Jack's Num Num cookies.
Yeah, and that's not even like, I guess
cookies are
cookies in the movie.
The cookies are canon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
not. I mean,
I get it.
It's okay.
I like The Incredibles. I really do. I feel like we don't get to watch it enough because we just never go to that type of movie, or it's not.
There's like way better movies.
next round. All right, and then the last matchup of the round of 32, we have Madame Medusa versus Assistant Mayor Bellwether from Zootopia. What are we thinking? I want to go with Bellwether here.
I'm going Madame Medusa.
See, we need to have like a tiebreaker here.
Do you want to rock, paper, scissors it?
Okay, so I guess explain. Kind of try to convince me it's Madame Medusa.
Okay, she takes a little orphan girl.
Okay, not the worst thing in the world. It happens all the time.
Wow. Okay, takes the little orphan girl and makes her go down in this creepy little cave to get her this huge diamond. And when she can't do it, like, she gets locked up in her room, or if she tries to run away, Madame Medusa sends her big creepy alligators after her. Like, and they're huge. And she's like, this is like the life that she's living for a little bit. Like, that seems pretty villainous.
Bellwether was played by Jenny Slate, and I just like Jenny Slate. That's my. All right, we'll do Madame Medusa. That makes.
Well, I don't know. I guess.
Like, I guess the reason, like, I truthfully would think like Bellwether would make a good choice here, and I'm glad we included her in this because, like, I don't think a lot of people like really like think of her as like as the villain because it was such a late twist. But I really like the fact that there are these twists with these villains.
Yes.
And like this one really got me.
Yeah.
So like kind of like with Hans, you go for a bit, 2/3 in the movie thinking like everything's good or like that this is someone you can confide in and like these characters can rely on, and then all of a sudden they're like, nope, I'm the villain now. And I think like Mayor Bellwether or Assistant Mayor Bellwether being played by like a tiny little like lamb. Like, I think it was just like the perfect move.
Yeah.
And like this especially against the mayor, who was like this huge, big, robust lion. I just really like that switch, and I think that really makes a good villain here. But yeah, I mean, she wasn't like abducting little girls and.
No, but I mean, she was turning like innocent animals savage.
Mm-hmm.
But then they all got, I don't know, we're all okay in the end.
Yeah. Let's do. I'll concede here, and we'll do Madame Medusa.
Okay. All right.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie too. Well, both of them, but.
All right.
So that concludes the round of 32.
Yes.
All right, ready to get into the
back around to the other side.
Back around to the other side and do the Sinister 16.
Yep. Sinister 16.
Sinister 16.
I like it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Round 1. Well, round 2.
2.
First matchup. That's what I meant. Jafar versus Hans.
Ooh,
I mean, they both have aspirations that are kind of like towards the same thing,
Yeah.
But I mean,
but Jafar has he has a staff and he can do like
he has powers that go along with his
which
villainy.
I think kind of elevates him a little bit.
Yeah, Hans just has tons of other brothers. I mean, that's kind of like his driving force, which we don't get in the movie. But I think, I would say Jafar, just because he has the power to back up his villainy, where Hans doesn't.
Yeah. Okay, Jafar going on.
Perfect. Next round, what you got?
We have Mother Gothel versus Gaston.
Okay. Again, I think it's just more like Gaston's playing checkers, Mother Gothel's playing chess.
Yeah.
She's like intellectually a far superior villain than what Gaston is.
Yes.
And that's not just because Gaston's reading books upside down and only cares about his looks. I mean, she's really thought this out. She's hired the henchmen. She's going full on in here. Gaston's just a pretty pair of pecs. That just wants to kill the beast. So
yeah, so we're going Mother Gothel.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we agree on that one.
I feel like we've agreed on the majority.
Yeah, I know we have. All right, next one.
Ursula versus Maleficent.
Ooh, classic.
And they both have that moment where they turn into a bigger version of themselves, and they're just so menacing. I guess remembering both of these villains, was there one that you were more scared of watching it growing up?
I think probably Ursula.
And that's what my gut is telling me too.
Yeah, I remember being pretty scared every time she turned really big. So yeah, I'd probably go Ursula.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay.
I mean, I think this one was pretty close.
Yeah.
At least I personally think it was pretty close, but I think Ursula is just a more menacing, where Maleficent was more just kind of really sly when it came to her villainy.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I'm good with this. Let's do it.
All right, next one. We have Ernesto de la Cruz versus Shan Yu.
So now, I know we talked about how Shan Yu is wanting to take over the entire country and was killing people left and right, but I feel like it's a shame if Ernesto doesn't continue on a little bit further in this. I mean, he wanted to dead Hector, and
I mean, he did dead Hector.
Yeah. And he's another one again that it's a villain that you don't really get to realize he's the villain until later in the movie. That's always going to be like a really contribute, like a key factor in like how well you are as a villain.
I don't know, and I think he just plays the villain part like so well. You know,
like Shan Yu had like the brute force and the strength behind it, but like Ernesto was playing the long game. Like Shan Yu was just playing like the field as it presented to himself.
So we going to Ernesto?
I mean, I think we have to do Ernesto.
Okay. Ernesto.
All right, so that is the first part of this Sinister 16. We got 4 there. Let's go on to our other side. The first matchup we have here is Dr. Facilier versus the Evil Queen. To me, this one isn't really close at all.
Are you picking Dr. Facilier?
I'm picking Dr. Facilier.
I would too. I think his intentions are much bigger than the Evil Queen.
Yeah, and the Evil Queen does have power, don't get me wrong, but like Dr. Facilier is pulling his power and pulling these cards from like a different type of source of power.
Yeah.
And like, getting into that like dark magic or that black magic or that voodoo magic, like that just makes it very, I just feel like more sinister.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Facilier.
Again, it wasn't really anything that was like a difficult decision for me. I don't think like.
Okay, and I think going back to like if I have a favorite villain, he might be one of them.
Yeah.
I think.
He just like he always gets me just so like he gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Like he's just
But I love his song.
Oh, he's
like his
some of the
song,
best.
Like really, I love it. But okay.
I mean, we've talked about it in extent on the past episodes, especially like the dig a little deeper.
Yeah.
Like he is just one of the best villains out there.
I think so too.
It's like he is just there's a reason why like when you think of Disney villains or like even like during like the like out at Oogie Boogie Bash, like he is one of like the premier meet and greets. He's one of the premier characters that you can see out there because he is that like he is that villain.
Okay. Next round, we have Hades versus Cruella.
Hades. I mean, come on. Okay. So, like, I know, like, we both agree Cruella, bad. I do feel like she got a little bit of redemption arc in the Emma Stone version.
Okay, that's totally different.
I know. I'm just saying, well, you have to consider all the options here. There are 2 different Cruellas.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, there could be in like the infinite multiverse of Disney of Disney universes.
Yeah.
Like there is a version of Cruella that is not like skinning dogs.
That's true.
And I do like that version, the live action version. I guess obviously in this one we're this is the animated version.
Right. Okay. I'll go Hades with you. I won't fight you. This time.
All right. Next matchup we have is Yzma versus Frollo. It's Frollo. Yeah. And this was, like I said before earlier, like it didn't matter if Clayton or Yzma had made it out of the first round. Like Frollo was taking that one. Like, God, just the worst.
He really is. Like every time I watch Hunchback, and like oh my gosh, he gets me riled up. Like I don't like him. Yeah. All right. Next round.
And this is, and not that this is a surprise, it's just the way it is, but like it's just these 2 going up against one another.
Yeah.
Ratigan versus Madame Medusa.
Ooh, I like this matchup.
Yes, and I'm gonna concede to you since like these characters very well, and I'm gonna let you decide here. I'm gonna be non-villainous. I'm gonna be opposite of villainous.
Okay. Well, okay. So you have Ratigan. He has this whole plan to basically kill off the queen, so he can be in charge. Yeah. Versus Madame Medusa, who like takes an orphan to do her dirty work to get this the Devil's Eye.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that kind of is like a precursor to Jafar. Like, he was just looking for someone to get a shiny lamp out of.
That's true.
You know, like, Madame Medusa and Jafar are, like, kind of hand in hand the same thing.
Yeah. I think between these two, I would go Ratigan.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's what we're going with. Ratigan.
All right, so that completes our round of the Sinister 16.
Yep.
Which means we're down to we said the Evil 8s, right?
The Evil 8.
So, in our Evil 8s, we're just going to go through all the I guess, competitors.
Okay.
We have Jafar, Mother Gothel, Ursula, and Ernesto de la Cruz. We have Ratigan, Frollo, Hades, and Dr. Facilier.
How are you feeling about those choices?
To be honest, there are a couple in here that I didn't think might not have been here. I guess I shouldn't say might not have been here, but like there are ones that I would have expected to be here instead. Ratigan is a little bit of a surprise, but I think it just kind of came down to where the seating came down to.
I was gonna say Maleficent. I thought for sure she would go like to this round, but being that she was up against Ursula. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling good about this.
But like Jafar, Facilier, Hades, Mother Gothel, like those seem like that makes perfect sense to me. But I guess speaking of Mother Gothel and Jafar, they're our first matchup in the Evil 8s.
Yeah, Jafar versus Mother Gothel. Okay.
Do you want to say on the count of 3 what we think?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Because I have a gut. Like I feel strongly about one.
I do too.
Okay.
It's probably not the same one as you. Okay. You want to do 1, 2, 3 and then say the name?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Jafar.
Mother Gothel.
Of course we're disagreeing on this.
Okay, why Jafar?
He is looking for unlimited cosmic power. And he wants to be the most powerful sorcerer in the entire universe. Mother Gothel just wants to live forever. She just wants to be. She wants to say.
Imprisoning a child.
Jafar was imprisoning Jasmine,
but not like her whole life, though.
Well, I mean, the plan was probably to do it their whole life. Say I'm wrong. Jafar wanted unlimited cosmic power, but couldn't deal with the itty-bitty limit space.
Well, that was just their... Like, they tricked him into wanting to be a genie. Like, that... Like, he just wanted to be, like... He just wanted to be Sultan.
Yeah. I mean, like... But you don't become Sultan to just, like... stay with your, like, one little kingdom and just be content. Like, he was pushing... Jasmine's father to like expand the territory, get more kingdoms. Like that's what he ultimately wanted, was more kingdoms, more land, more power. And it just eventually, eventually evolved into wanting to be like this great cosmic power once he knew that, he had that ability to trade places with Genie. Granted, it backfired on him, but...
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but I mean, other than imprisoning, Punzi for, years, I guess, what's your argument for Mother Gothel?
She was gonna get Eugene killed.
I mean, Eugene was gonna get himself killed. I mean,
well, no,
he's a ruffian. Like he's
like, she hired the two henchmen to. She had that whole plot schemed up.
Mm-hmm.
Like ruined Rapunzel's life, almost ruined her, like killed the love of her life.
I mean, Jafar wanted to kill Aladdin, who is Jasmine's love. So yeah. I don't know. Okay. I feel like if you're comparing these two on the grand scheme of what they were trying to accomplish as a villain.
Yeah.
as much as we don't like Mother Gothel, and boy, did I think that she was going to make it to the final four or to the the last round. I just think Jafar has
I guess
just a bigger reach of what he was trying to accomplish as a villain.
Okay, we'll go Jafar.
I win.
Jafar. Okay.
All right. What's the next matchup here?
So next matchup is Ursula versus Ernesto de la Cruz.
We were pushing for Ernesto to get through a couple rounds here, and
I don't know how you compete with Ursula.
I think he met his match here.
Yeah.
Ursula is just so menacing. It's such a memorable character, just in general.
Yeah.
She's just incredible. It's got to be Ursula.
Yeah, I don't think there's really not much competition between those two.
No.
So, all right, other side.
And I mean, technically, Ernesto's already dead, so it's not like he's not losing out by losing this competition. He's already dead.
Well, when you put it that way.
And then he got deaded again.
Yeah.
So I mean, he got what was coming to him.
Okay.
Oh, I don't like this round.
Oh wow!
I don't like this round at all.
You want to do this one first?
Yes, let's skip this one because I'm gonna be heartbroken talking about this last one here.
Okay, we'll go to the easier one.
Yeah, this is much easier.
Frollo versus Ratigan.
It's Frollo.
Yeah, it's Frollo.
You are deformed. And you are ugly. Okay, we get it, Frollo. Like, you've got a god complex over Quasi. Like, I get it. Okay, I can't even bear to read this matchup.
Okay.
I'm so upset about this because I can't choose. I can't.
Okay. Dr. Facilier versus Hades.
Don't make me choose.
Do you want me to choose?
How about we just send them both to the final round? It's a tie. It's like they went to overtime.
If you had to choose. If you had to choose.
It's up to the delegates. No. Okay, so I'm assuming you're pushing for Dr. Facilier here.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm going to take the stance of Hades because I have to. He's my boy. So Hades. He was patient in waiting 18 years for everything to align to get the most destructible titans and monsters that have ever graced Earth to unleash them and cause havoc and take down the gods. Ta-da! The end. Like, I mean, that is like, he had big bad ambitions there. Mm-hmm. And if don't you dare say what I think you're gonna say. What's Sammy?
Yeah.
What is your argument for why Dr. Facilier should move on?
He squished Ray.
No!
He squished Ray.
Okay. I love Ray. We
love Ray.
But I mean, it's that. Don't give me that look. I can't. No, I mean. Okay, so I'm gonna say that Dr. Facilier is not as good as Hades because his power, his magic voodoo power, had to be given to him, and he had to beg for it. He didn't have it. Like he had the snake oil salesman work around to try to get everything to go his way. So he could be this very macho villain. Hades, he's just like, listen here, this is what we're doing. And it just got foiled because Pain and Panic couldn't kill off Hercules and make him sip a whole bottle of poison. If Pain and Panic had just did their job, which had nothing to do with Hades, Hades would have been that Jafar type of character, the great cosmic villain. And you want to say it, Dr. Facilier is better because he killed Ray?
Okay, I'll give it to Hades.
Yeah. Like, I was really hoping that it would come down to these two.
Yeah. I just really like seeing you fight for Hades.
I mean, I don't want to, like, I didn't want to have any preconceived notions of, like, coming into this competition and be like, okay, who's going to win? Like, this is who I think's going to win.
Yeah.
But I knew if it came down to Dr. Facilier and Hades, that was probably going to be the hardest one to pick because, like, they're just so, like, they are very equal. And, like, I could have, had I listened to you give a better argument, I could have maybe.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, I just picked Dr. Facilier just to make an argument, or like to hear you make an argument. But yeah, like if you're putting those two up against each other, like it's Hades. Like,
so if it was just a solo skimmy podcast and you were doing this, you would pick Hades, or if you were doing this bracket, you would pick Hades?
I would pick Hades as like the baddest, like between the two. Like I would think he's the baddest, more bad villain.
Okay. I'm just surprised that, like, and again, like, I really wish the seating, they would have been on opposite sides, because I really think that they probably would have came down to.
Well, I don't know. Like, I think as much as I like Dr. Facilier, in the grand scheme of like the villains, like there are quite a few, I think, ahead of him. Mm-hmm. Hence, like, why we have these final four.
And especially like, because like the way that the bracket is set up, like Dr. Facilier isn't going up against someone like Ursula or Mother Gothel or, you know, Jafar. So like I'm not saying that he had like an easier way to get to him, because like obviously he's still, but like he's not going up against like someone like Maleficent or something where like the powers are a little bit more matched. Yeah. So I think it just kind of all came down to like the seeding of everything, and it just kind of worked out for some characters over others. But I think I'm feeling pretty confident going into this last section. The Frightening Four. Is that what we said?
Yeah, I think the Frightening Four.
Yeah, so I'm feeling pretty confident going into the Frightening Four with these characters.
All right, it all comes down to this.
The Frightening Four.
Oh well, yeah, I guess it's 4.
Yeah.
So not quite yet.
Not quite. We're getting there.
But it's very interesting. Our final 4 are all Disney Renaissance movies.
Oh yeah, look at that. Mm-hmm. You think that's like some sort of like conscious?
I think that just speaks to the movies of that time.
Yeah, like that's so weird. I never know. Yeah. I didn't even notice that until you said it. Yeah, I mean, obviously these are the movies that we grew up with, but they're, I mean, as quintessential as like the characters and like the princesses were in these movies. You can't have a good story with a good princess or a good victory if it weren't for a bad baddie going up against you.
Ooh, I'm excited. Okay, you ready for our first one?
I am.
Okay, Jafar versus Ursula.
Oh boy. So obviously Jafar wanted that cosmic, reach of power. Mm-hmm. Ursula basically wanted to get rid of King Triton, control the seas. So there was a lot of ambition on both of them.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to think, like if they went up against like fighting each other.
If it was like Super Smash Brothers, but Disney villains.
Like who would win? Or I don't know. Or do we go like who do you like more? Or
and I think that's been like especially in like the round of 32, that was the hardest thing, like separating like which villain do I like the most versus which villain is like legitimately more bad. I think with his scepter, Jafar is just, I mean, he controls a lot of that power.
Yeah, well, I mean, and obviously Ursula has magic of her own,
and she does have her own magic, and she wanted King Triton's poker thing. Triton. Yeah, his name's Triton. Because he holds a Triton. Is that why they call him Captain Hook?
I guess.
Yeah, I know I feel like this is a very evenly matched competition.
Yeah, like I don't
matchup.
Do you have one that you would pick?
I do, solely based on, I guess, what movie was like my favorite growing up between the two, and it was Aladdin. So like
Oh.
I guess I have more, I don't want to say exposure, but appreciation for like the story of Aladdin, and then obviously that comes with knowing Jafar.
Yeah.
But I mean Ursula, like she was just like, she sounded like, but so did Jafar. I don't. This is hard.
Okay, I know who I would pick.
Okay. Since I made the argument of a lifetime to get Hades over Dr. Facilier, I am going to say you can pick the winner of this one, and that's who will advance. I will agree with whoever you, because I can go either way for me.
Okay, I would pick Ursula.
Okay. Why would you pick Ursula over Jafar?
Well, I think just as a kid, I was more afraid of Ursula when I saw, like, watching the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she was always one that I was more scared of. So
yeah, that makes total sense. Like, they're both like
they're very
menacing.
evenly, and they're very evenly matched.
And you're right, they both have like magical qualities to them. But yeah, Ursula making it into the final, the championship round.
All right, we got to go to the other side.
Other side here. This one.
Okay.
This is menacing on two different levels. We have Hades versus Frollo.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna throw in the. Let's talk about the scale of what they were trying to like accomplish as a villain.
Okay. So you have Frollo.
Mm-hmm.
He's like trying to
cleanse the city.
Yeah, cleanse the city of anyone, like any gypsies, anyone that's like, I don't know,
not like him.
Yeah, like that's not like a white European person. The way he treats Quasimodo.
Yeah. So, but I guess like his ambition was like kind of like secluded to the area that he was in. Like he wasn't like trying to like rid the entire world of gypsies.
Okay, he probably could have got there.
He could have. I agree. I'm just saying, like, from what we see, you know, yes, he did want to get rid of people like Esmeralda and Quasimodo, but it was very like just.
This is the area Quasimodo, like, he literally tells him like, you're deformed and you're ugly and you need to stay locked up in your tower, and I'm your only friend. And then Quasimodo,
that's pretty mean.
And Quasimodo goes out for his one day out there, literally gets humiliated and tormented, and
Frollo's like, what did I tell you?
He literally just watches him go through that.
Yeah. God. And then like the whole like this lustfulness towards Esmeralda was messed up.
Yeah. Like he's such like
a creep.
Yeah, he's a creep, and like he, like, to me, like he is like the epitome of a villain.
And I guess Hades, I mean, he did have the grand ambition of taking down the gods, becoming like this great and all-powerful god, but I don't really know if he had like the ambition to like cleanse the earth of souls that he didn't like.
Like he just wanted to be in charge.
Yeah.
You know. But at the same time, like he did want to kill Hercules.
Yep. And he didn't have any, you know, he had no disregard for hurting anybody in the way of his plan either.
Yeah. But I guess like his intention wasn't to go out and like I guess, kill people. I mean, I know he's like the god of the underworld, but those are people that are just
like, I mean, in the end of the thing, he wanted people to be killed, but he wasn't like actively killing people or trying to get rid of people. God, you're really making me consider not Hades now.
I don't know, but then like, do you? I guess like, so in this case, do you go with the person that's actually like, I don't know, that's doing, I guess, like the more villainous things, or do you go with the villain that you really like more?
And this is definitely that conundrum that I'm in right now. I guess when it boils down to who is doing the most vile things, which is a villain is.
Yeah.
Frollo is doing the more vile things. So if I had to go based off of that, Frollo would be worse than Hades. He's a bigger baddie than Hades.
Yeah.
Put him on through.
Well, okay. I don't know. Like, is that like the right choice? Because I feel like
I don't think there's gonna be a right choice, because there's so many different ways to, I guess, quantify what is a baddie, what is a villain. They're villainous in their own ways. Frollo was just no nonsense as well. Hades, he liked to have some fun. He liked to joke around. And
that's where I'm just like, I kind of like, between the two, I would like Hades more.
Yes. Like if I had to sit down and have like a nice meal with one of them, I know that I'm closer to my deathbed having it with Hades, but like I'm not eating anything with Frollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're really, you're making me think that Frollo is the right answer here.
But now I'm feeling like if we do Frollo, then I'm just like, oh, but like, I don't know, he's.
And I'm trying to like to put my blinders on to my love for the Hercules films. You can go back and listen to the last our Hercules podcast, just how much I love that movie, and we love that movie. And I'm trying to put those blinders on. So I'm going purely based off of who is the bigger baddie. Okay. And although the ambitions aren't as grand when it comes to Frollo towards Hades, like what they're trying to accomplish in total, I think how they go about doing it, Frollo is just Frollo's just the worst.
He really is. So are we saying Frollo?
I'm saying Frollo.
I'm saying okay. We're going Frollo.
You're typing it in. Can't go back now. There's no deletes on these Chromebooks.
Oh boy.
All right. We are down to the final.
The final two?
The final two. This is the battle of the baddies. We have on one side Frollo, who we just sent through, going up against.
We have him going up against Ursula.
Okay. Ursula. I think we need like, do we look at this the same way we did Hades and Frollo? But then like I do feel like Ursula was like more like manipulative than Hades was. Like Hades is manipulative, don't get me wrong. But like Ursula was like, I guess they were both purposely like making deals because they knew that there was like a loophole in them.
Right, so they could still ultimately get what they wanted in the end.
Right. Hades did rely on other people. Ursula really didn't. It was like she was the show. Like she had her two eels, but like they're just eels.
Yeah.
But like she was the big bad. Frollo really didn't, rely on anybody but himself, I feel.
Well, yeah, because he brought in oh, what's the guy's name? That falls in love with Esmeralda.
Oh, yeah.
He does bring him in to try to help, but then even he realizes like what's going on and like
Yeah,
turns
he
against
knew
him.
right away, like this
Yeah.
is bad news bears. So I guess
I think after the lengthy discussion we had with Frollo versus Hades, like to me, I think like I don't think Ursula has any
I think
any
it's
gain on him, or
yeah.
you know,
Like if Hades couldn't beat Frollo,
I don't think
Ursula could have. But Ursula also, I feel, has more power, which is why she took over or was able to overtake someone like Jafar. Like Frollo is very like street level type of menacing and street level type of villain. Like he is very brooding and very just again the worst, but he doesn't really have anything to like back up that power in terms of like magic or anything like that, where Ursula does. You know what I mean?
I guess, but I don't know. I just go back to like all the things that Frollo does throughout the movie versus like Ursula, like she takes Ariel's voice away.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of tries to capitalize at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I think I know who I would pick.
And I think I'm gonna agree with you. It's gonna be Frollo in this case. And I think it comes down to if Hades couldn't beat Frollo with everything that he had going for him.
Yeah.
I think Hades would have beat Ursula in this situation.
Yeah.
So if Hades couldn't beat Frollo, there'd be no way that Ursula could beat Frollo.
Yeah.
And that is really surprising to me.
That is not to me. That is who I
thought. Who you thought was going to make it?
Yes. Frollo. Like, I can't. Obviously, we did the whole bracket, but, like, you put him up against, like, any villain, like, and I'm going to think he's worse, like, all the time. Like, with how, like, what he does, how he treats people, how he treats Quasimodo. Like, I don't. Like, he's villainous on, like
he takes like villain, like you turn the volume or you turn the knob up to 10 and then you break it to 11 with just how you want to like. Okay, so if Ursula and Frollo are in front of you, who do you want to punch in the face more?
Frollo.
Who do you want to throw off a bridge more?
Yeah, Frollo.
Who do you want to like be killed in a tragic way from like a piano falling off a 30-foot building?
Yes, Frollo.
It's Frollo.
It is Frollo.
100% Frollo. Like, there is like some sort of like, I don't want to say a redeeming quality with Ursula by any means, but there's a quality that you kind of like are drawn to with Ursula. Like, not with Frollo.
Yeah.
Not at all. He's just the absolute worst. And I got to be honest, I did not think that this is the conclusion that we were going to come to. But yeah.
I think
Team Unicorn, right now, we are declaring when it comes to the Disney villains, the 32 we have in this competition,
the baddest baddie.
In the battle of the baddies, the baddest baddie is
Frollo
from Hunchback.
I don't know. And I guess.
And it wasn't a surprise to you.
No,
you knew it all along.
I had it in my head, like, if I had to pick. But I think we were pretty open about, like, discussions and everything. And I do have to say, I think it was a little hard between Frollo and Hades. And I think that's only because Hades is a villain that you love. Like, Frollo is not one of those villains that you, like, oh, yeah, like, I love that villain. Like no,
Frollo was written as a villain for people to hate on.
Yeah.
Like, there are villains that people love. Like, we love Dr. Facilier.
Mm-hmm.
We love Hades. I love Yzma and Kronk. I love, some of these villains, but, like, he is just one that you never want to meet.
Yeah.
You just, like, you want to throw hands.
Punch him in the face. Yep. Yeah. So I guess that's what we have. I don't know if you guys have any arguments against that. I would love to hear it if you think any of these other villains like could, potentially take him on. But I don't think so. Like Frollo he's like the definition of a villain.
He is.
He really is.
And now that we're kind of like into like this final, we've got our answer with Frollo here. I'm interested to see like if we did like a battle of the MCU baddies. Like who do we think is like the worst, like, or the biggest villain? I mean, obviously you think of Thanos in the MCU, but I'm like, if you put them all into a bracket like this, would Thanos come out on top?
Well, and then because obviously like Thanos with the gauntlet trumps them all. So I think you have to do Thanos like without the gauntlet.
Yeah, Sans got gauntlets.
Yeah. So, but anyways.
Because then I'm like, well, if we did this one with the MCU, like, whatever person we come up with at the end, like, who would win a fight, them or Frollo?
Yeah.
We might have to do this. This is a good idea. Yeah. So, yeah, but let us know what you think about Frollo being the baddest baddie of them all. Was that surprising to you? Did you know all along, like Sammy did? Do you wish that they weren't in the same competition or the same side as Hades, so that Hades could have won the competition potentially? Definitely let us know.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's going to wrap up this episode of the Team Unicorn podcast and the Battle of the Baddies in our Halloween episode here. Drop us a like, comments, subscribe on YouTube, or follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
All that love means so much. We love seeing the new followers coming in and interacting with you guys. It's really fun. We've got to meet some really cool people on there. And all of our podcast friends, go follow them too.
Oh yeah, there's so many amazing podcast friends that we've like starting to get to know and
interacting with.
Yeah, and so that's been really awesome.
So thank you guys for listening so much for this week's episode. Yeah, I'm Tyler.
I'm Sammy.
And it's been magical.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Team Unicorn podcast. You can find us on all major podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like, and review wherever you are listening, and follow us on Instagram to keep up with all things Team Unicorn. And remember, stay magical.